Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube? This is SEO0320 representing JVS. So I am back, you guys, for another semi-live reaction. I did get to see a screening of Wonder Woman again. So technically this is my reaction coming out of the movie for the second time. I will be checking it out in IMAX and IMAX 3D on Thursday. Be checking it out with one of my good friends. Tonight I got to see the screening with Joe tonight. Just FYI, and I mean, he can do his own review or not, but he'd already told me he really enjoyed it. Shout out to also Ray and her friend. They also really enjoyed the movie as well. I wanted to do some kind of pop-up interviews with them, but it was kind of running a little late. And at the same time I had to get to my car from the garage, and I even got you guys right now sitting on like kind of a stand right now as I'm kind of getting back home, as it's kind of raining and thunderstorming. But I just kind of wanted to give you guys kind of like some of my small thoughts that are not spoiler related, but kind of a little bit more insight what I saw the second time around. Was it worse experience? Was it a better experience? I will say that the theater that I went to this time around, the theater, the audio levels were off. Basically, the action moments were really high on the volume, but then the dialogue sequences were very low. I'm glad I got to notice that, so I could tell people that if you go to a film and it's kind of like that, that's not normal. The first time I watched the film, you know, the audio levels, the mixing was not like that. That could have been a really heavy critique if I had not known that. If that was my first time watching it, I kind of would have probably critiqued that, but that's not what the movie gave me. What I'll give you guys is some small tidbits about the characterizations and the dialogue. The thing about this film that I think a lot of people are gonna have resonate with them is it has so much heart. Part of that, to me personally, watching it specifically a second time and not being like all anxiety ridden and just excited, is watching the dedication that Gal Gadot put towards this character. Like, as much as, you know, I don't know about her true to form acting ability and what she's truly capable of, I can only judge it based off of what I've seen with this. She is completely committed to this role. There's such an innocence about her that, you know, I think that with Batman vs Superman, I didn't get to see that. I got to see her ferocity. I got to see, you know, her elegance. I got to see her, you know, cunningness. But that was like, you know, years after the fact of what this movie gave us, where she is new to the world. Like, not only does she not know what her true potential is, but she doesn't even know how the world works. She's naive about everything, but she's hopeful for everything. Her belief in the process of what she is capable of and what, you know, humankind is capable of is really endearing in and of itself. And I think that it's funny to me that the first person that she really interacts with is probably one of the best people that she could have ever interacted with. Like, this man, even though, you know, he's a soldier and he's kind of scruffy and all this and that, he's a good man. Like, Chris Pine does so much to add to the role of Steve Trevor, with adding him as not just a good soldier, but a good man, like an endearing man, like a loving man. He honestly, in so many different respects in the portrayal and even in the dialogue sequences, extends her into being the character she needs to be, if that makes any kind of sense. I want to go more into it. I probably will when I get to the spoiler review, but a lot of it reminded me of, I guess, a lot of the life lessons that the other heroes got from their mentors or people that kind of push into a life. Kind of like if you think about like what Alfred does for Batman, you know, kind of situation. That is what Steve Trevor adds and envelops into the mythos and just the characterization of Gal Gadot's character. And I think that is very well written, very well plotted out, and I think it doesn't suffer from any kind of pacing issues. As long as the movie is, there's so much meat behind it, because the characters, not only you care about them, but you want to know more about, you know, who they are, you know, what brings them to where they're gonna be. And matter of fact, even the second time watching this, watching Robin Wright's character unfold into the line, I think that I actually enjoyed her character even more this time, because I was like, I didn't see her that much to kind of like look at her and be like, okay, yeah, she's okay, but no, she adds so much more to the character. Just like, Diana's mother, like their dialogue sequences are so well written and they're so rich that, their rewatchability is there. Like, I think that I was sitting there a little bit worried because I was sitting there watching the action beats and I was like, wow, these are amazing. But I was like, this could get really old really fast. But one of the things I always say about the DC movies that I've seen thus far in the DCEU is that they have an ability of latching on these in-depth philosophical perspectives that sometimes can be a little bit too much for some people to want to think about. But for me, I love it because it adds depth to something. And I think that's the reason why I love Man of Steel so much. I think that looking at it the second time, I don't know if I can say that Wonder Woman is my favorite. I'm still keeping it at a tie with Man of Steel for specific reasons. But I will say, from a nostalgia standpoint, if I try to compare this to, like, Superman 1, this might be better than Superman 1. Not better than Superman 2, don't get me wrong on this. But it might be honestly better than Superman 1 in the way that they bring about her character and the way they go and display it on a grander scale. And using, yes, of course, you got the CG and everything like that, but they commit to these characters. And I gotta say, if Chris Pine was not in this film, given it what he gave it, the film would not be as good as it really truly is, because a lot of the movie rides on their chemistry as much as his moments of just comedic timing and just heart. I think that's one of the things I loved about, Star Wars is what, Chris Pine does for Captain Kirk. He adds an extension to that character that no one else really could fill those shoes with. I know for a fact that he did a great job in Hell or High Water, but I just love him in this film. Like, I really do legitimately love him in this film. I still will not talk about, the third act. I won't talk about anything villain related. I do like some of the things that they did with that. But I will say that the fights, the action, you're going to be all in it and you're going to love it. As much as I loved it the second time around, I can't wait to see it again. But I think that if the substance wasn't there and the written, way that they were able to script everything wasn't there, I wouldn't, have this desire to want to watch it again like I do. So that's all I have. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my live reaction and insight from my second time watching Wonder Woman. I did enjoy it. I still keep it at a 9 out of 10. If you want to know why I came from a 9.5 to a 9, definitely go and check out my critic retrospective video that I did a review on. You can go and check that out right now. I don't have the link in the link bar below, but I will put it in there a little bit later on. I gotta go home, get to my wife. One of the reasons I went on and did this now is because she was like, we need to get some rest and get some sleep and eat. So I definitely want to get back to her. Love you, baby. And I'll talk to you guys later. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. And Wonder Woman don't look like she's stopping at all. Look for tomorrow. I'm going to talk a little bit more about something I'm going to be involved with Earth 2 Comic podcast. Okay, guys? Peace, guys.